Ditha, do you remember what that means? That's right, it means hello. Ditha, I'm Nina. And welcome to Little Story Seekers. We are here in the writer's block and I'm here to tell you another story. But first, I'm going to teach you another little bit of Cornish. Fatlagenis. That means, how are you? Should we say it together? Fatlagenis. After 3. 1, 2, 3. Fatlagenis. And then you say something like splan. Do you remember what splan means? That's right, it means brilliant. So we'll try that again, shall we? Fatlagenis. Splan. Oh, shall we sing the hello song? Shall we? We'll do it after 3. 1, 2, 3. Say hello, low, low. Say hello, low, low. Wave your hands up high, wave them down low, low. Say hello, low, low. Say hello, low, 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 low. Ooh-hoo. Little story seekers, wave your hands up high, wave them down low, low. Say hello, low, low. Say hello, low, 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 low. Woo-hoo. I love the woohoos. Shall we do it again? But this time we will do it like a rock star with an air grab, shall we? Okay, after 3. 1, 2, 3. Woo-hoo! Yes. Oh, let's see what's in the case. Now, last time I taught you some Cornish numbers, didn't I? Can you remember what they were? That's right, it was onnen, dow, tree. Now, I like to say a special rhyme to open my case, and it starts with onnen, dow, tree. It goes like this. Onnen, dow, tree, what's in the case? Let's see. Would you like to do that with me? Okay. Onnen, dow, tree, what's in the case? Let's see. Wow, it's a lantern. Cool. I'm going up for a walk on the moors later. That'd be ideal. That will help me to see my way once it gets dark. Fabulous. I'll just put this down here. Let's see what else there is. Oh, some biscuits. Oh, yummy. I love a sweet treat, especially after I've done some exercise. So I'll have that later, after I've been for my walk on the moors. Actually, that reminds me of a story. It's called The Piskies Revenge. Once upon a time, there lived a grandfer, a granny, and their granddaughter, Jennifer. And they lived in a little cottage on the edge of Bodmin Moor. Now, grandfer's job was to go up onto the moor with his trusty tusker and dig up lumps of peat that he'd bring back, roll up and burn on the fire to keep them warm. And what he didn't use, he used to sell on to his friends. And that was his job. And Granny stayed at home and looked after the little cottage on the edge of Bodmin Moor and cooked up lots of lovely sweet treats because that was Grandfer's favourite. And Jennifer liked a few sweet treats too. One day, Grandfer set out to work with his trusty tusker. He went up onto Bodmin Moor to dig up the peat. Now, unbeknownst to him, he was being watched by some little people, and they were not happy. because Grandfer was digging up all the lovely, soft, comfy peat that they used as their bedding. They liked to sleep on it because it was so lovely and soft. And so they were getting angrier and angrier watching Grandfer steal their lovely bedding. So they huddled together and decided they needed to get their revenge on Grandfer. So they lit their little lamps and tried to lead him astray. They lit their lamps, and suddenly Grandfer had an urge to follow the light. But he stopped himself halfway because he knew what was happening to him. He was being mazed by the Piskies. And being a Cornish lad, he knew how to stop being mazed by the Piskies. He knew that if he turned his pockets inside out, that would stop them. And so that's exactly what he did. And straight away, the urge to follow the light stopped. And he carried on with his work. Well, of course, the Piskies weren't happy with this because they wanted to get their revenge. They wanted to get their own back on him for nicking their bedding. So they decided to follow him and see how they could get their revenge. Now, on this particular day, it was Grandfer's birthday. And Granny and Jennifer had spent all day at home cooking up a sweet treat for Grandfer. Now, Grandfer's favourite was a pudding called junket. Now, junket is like a milky jelly, and it's supposed to be delicious. And he also liked to have biscuits with this. So that's what they did. They'd spent all day cooking up some junket and cooking up some biscuits, and they put it in the spence to cool down. Now, whilst the food was in the spence cooling down, they were also being watched by the same Piskies. And they had come up with the cunning plan to steal all of the sweet treats that were being cooked up for Grandfer's birthday. So while the food was in the spence cooling down, the Piskies jumped through the window and into the spence and brought out the junket and the biscuits and proceeded to eat the whole lot. And it really was delicious. Well, of course, by the time Grandfer came home, there was nothing for his birthday tea. "Oh no," said Grandfer. "I was really looking forward to my favourite junket and biscuits." "Well, really, Jennifer," said Granny, "you could have waited. There was lots for all of us." Jennifer said, "But it wasn't me. I didn't take it. I was really looking forward to Grandfer's tea. Maybe it was the cat." "Oh, really, Jennifer? To blame the cat?" And then Jennifer had an idea. "I know what we'll do. We'll cook up some more junket and some more biscuits, and we'll put it in the spence, and this time we will watch to see what happens." So that's exactly what they did. They cooked up some more biscuits and some more junket, and they put it in the spence to cool down. And then they watched and waited. In through the window crept the Piskies. And they crept to the spence. And they took out the junket and they took out the biscuits and they proceeded to start nibbling them. Well, in burst Granny. She was furious. "How dare you steal Grandfer's tea?" she said. "Be gone, you naughty Piskies, and if I ever catch you around here again, I will turn you into house Piskies. And then you'll be sorry because you'll have to do all of my housework. You'll have to do my washing, my cleaning, my cooking, and you'll even have to wash Grandfer's socks." "No!" screamed the Piskies, and they ran out, never to be seen again. And Granny and Grandfer and Jennifer all sat down and enjoyed Grandfa's tea. And they were not troubled again by the naughty Piskies. And they carried on living in their little cottage on the edge of Bodmin Moor. The end. Oh, that was fun, wasn't it? Do you remember what Grandpa did to stop the naughty Piskies? That's right, he turned his pockets inside out. Maybe you should try that next time you're feeling a little confused. Those naughty Piskies trying to steal Grandpa's food. Grandpa was partial to a sweet treat, and I like a sweet treat too. Actually, we could do that for activity, couldn't we? We could make a sweet treat. Okay, so we're going to make some no-bake flapjacks. So what you need is 140 grams of rolled oats or porridge oats. You need 32 grams of sunflower and pumpkin seeds. You will need 60 grams of runny peanut butter, 60 grams of coconut oil that needs to be melted. So you will need your grown-up helper to help you with that one. And 60 millilitres of maple syrup. You will also need a baking tin lined with greaseproof paper, just like this. Okay. Now the first thing to do is to take our oats and to add our pumpkin and sunflower seeds. So you just pour those in like that and give them a really good mix up. Ooh, yummy. Now we need to mix up in a separate bowl all of our runny ingredients. So that's the maple syrup, the coconut oil, ooh, lovely, and the runny peanut butter. Mix them all together until they make sort of like a lovely satay type dressing. You see that? That's all mixed together. There's a bit of... Okay, and then simple, you just pour all the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients. And mix them all up. Yummy. Oop. So that's all thoroughly mixed up, and then you just transfer it into the baking tray. And you make sure you push it right down, nice and firmly, right into the corners. Like that. Yum. And if you're very lucky, you can lick the spatula. Yum, 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 yum. Okay, and then all you have to do with that is to put it in the freezer for 20 minutes. And it will come out like that. And then all you have to do is cut it into pieces and enjoy. Okay, so that brings us to the end of Little Story Seekers. So what have we learnt today? Well, we learnt a new Cornish phrase, didn't we? Fatlagenis. Shall I say it again? Fatlagenis. Splan. And we went over the Cornish numbers again. Onan dow tree. And of course we said dith dar at the beginning, didn't we? We also made some lovely flapjacks. I'm looking forward to having those with a nice cup of tea in a minute. But all that's left to do now is to sing the goodbye song, isn't it? Should we do that after 3? Oh, should we do using the Cornish numbers? Onan dow tree. Say goodbye, bye, bye, say goodbye, bye, bye. Wave your hands down low, wave them up high, high. Say goodbye, bye, bye, say goodbye, bye, 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 bye. Ooh-hoo. Little story seekers, wave your hands down low, wave them up high, high. Say goodbye, bye, bye, say goodbye, bye, 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 bye. Ooh-hoo. Goodbye.